Kickstarter campaign as well. But somebody who's moving a ton of units is Dave Pilkey with Dogman, right? Over 60 million units sold as recorded by Forbes on April 1st of this year. Books are moving not just the comic shops, but bookstores, book drives, right? The local school, like book selling moments, right? Where the kid comes in there with $10.
Well, this is the key piece. This is the key piece of this, is that he's ingrained in the school system.
Right. Is that the key piece?
It's scholastic. Who's
the scholastic element.
Scholastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Let me throw this number at you. All right. In the United States, the American Library Association has reported there are over 119,000 libraries in the United States. Okay. Of those, 100,000 are from school libraries. All right. The Library of Congress is the largest institution by far in terms of volumes held, with more than 34.5 million volumes. All right. Then we have regular public libraries are somewhere around over 9,000. Right. Then you got, their branches, central buildings. So in total, they're saying there are over 16,000 total public libraries. That's a lot of places to carry books like Dogman, right? There's a lot of young readers. What are we doing? What can we do to try to capture some of these readers as they age up, age out, are already primed to like comic books?
You can't.
Why not?
Because those kids exist in a different world, right? They're a completely different world of where they're getting their books and so on. So the only way that we can snag those kids, those people, whoever's reading Dogman, is we go back to the grail, right? It's just awareness. We as comic book folks are in such a niche space of sales, even though we have multiple niches: eBay, web store, crowdfunding, blah blah blah, whatever, Comic Cons, the general Dogman reader is not running to Comic Cons to find stuff. The general Dogman reader is not going to crowdfunding. The general comic reader is not doing their consuming in our locations. So the only way for them to even know that we exist is we have to get into their locations.
Okay.
And so, us trying to get into Scholastic, for example, that's going to be near impossible. I don't even think any of us have something that they would care to even, broach and put in there. Getting into libraries is a little different. Most libraries, you could probably just donate your shit if you wanted to. They'll take I asked my local library here. I was like, do you guys just take donations? They're like, yeah, like whatever you want to bring, just bring us stuff. So I was like, all right. And I would assume most libraries are probably similar, but you would probably also have to do a walk-in to all of those, almost like you're going to tour comic shops. You'd have to tour libraries and be like, here's a stack of books, here's a stack of books, here's a stack of books, versus like sending them. I don't know what would happen if you cold mailed books to a library. I don't know what the result would be.
Well, there are library systems where you can go on there and help them to place orders. If the book is available, if it has an ISBN number on it, it's available to all public libraries.
Okay.
So I mean that's a possibility.
If you go through Lightning Source, all that stuff is available to the entire library system and anybody who orders through the ISBN system. All that stuff is available. Once you make it available through Lightning Source, it goes through all of that. It's available through Barnes and Nobles. People can order it through Barnes and Nobles, through the ISBN numbers, so on and so forth.
Right, but those places aren't going to order it unless somebody tells them to order it.
No.
Exactly. More likely than not. Now, I agree with Tom. Yeah, I agree with Tom. Is that getting those readers is very, very tight. My only real issue is that here's the thing though, is like the Pilkey readers, Dogman is scheduled for 6 to 9 year olds, right? Okay. So 6 to 9 year olds, and then middle grade, which is one right afterwards. That's where comic books used to sit. 11-year-olds. That's whenever you hear Jim Shooter would talk about it, he would say we make comic books for 11-year-olds. Okay, Now that paradigm is shifted. People like Frank Miller, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, so on and so forth, have changed it so that age group has moved up. You understand? Maybe in college level. So it's like, what are we selling? You understand that these kids are really going to want. You understand? And the thing is, you know, what are we selling that these kids really want? Right? I mean, because the thing is when we have like diehard comic book fans, like we're all diehard comic book fans. We discovered comics at some point, right? And we know people similar to us who have discovered comics at some point and moved into comics and have found independent comics and enjoy them for what they are, right? So how much of that pool is going to move into that? Who knows? But I can tell you it is very niche.
Yeah, like well, I mean, just the simple fact that, like, if these kids are coming out of Dogman and then they're not landing on Spider-Man or Batman or whatever, like they're going into manga or, you know, whatever else, like that's part of the awareness thing. And again, you know, with manga, it's easy. It's like, hey, we've read Dogman. Hey, guess what? Manga's right next to it. It's right there. Whereas Marvel and DC might be in the vicinity, but because of the way, and we've talked about this on the show before, because of the way that Marvel and DC trade paperbacks exist in the worst possible format of all time to try and sell to new readers.
What, the prestige format or the not
the fact that everything is just random fucking numbers. It's like, here's X-Men 1 through 5, and then here's another X-Men 1 through 5, and here's another X-Men 1 through 5, and no one knows where to start and stop and go. Whereas manga, it's One Piece 1 through 52.
Thank you, Michael.
Done. This is it. And that's what that's what Marvel and DC needed to be doing. They need and they do it to a small degree, because if you want like DC Rebirth or whatever, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here it is. But because this shit has existed for so long and in so many incarnations, any kid that's going to come out of Dogman and be like, okay, what else can I get? They're going to be very confused with what to do with our world of comics. Even with us, it's confusing sometimes because we don't know how things were rebooted and retconned and reset and whatever. So someone is coming into it just fresh and new. If they don't have just the pure curiosity to be like, let me just start right here and just try it, they're going to go to something that makes more sense to them, which is, oh, look, One Piece 1 through 22. Oh, Death Note 1 through 20. You know, it's right there and easy. And the store usually has all of it at the same time. Whereas with like Marvel and DC, maybe you'll get a 1 or a 2, but then you got to order 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's just not that clean look that like Invincible is perfect, right? Invincible is like volume 1 through 25. It's just like it's super easy to just understand, get into, beginning, middle, end, boom. But you know, because Marvel and DC have done what they've done over the years, that's really hard to sort of, you know,
navigate through that. And the thing is their editorial system and their editorial staff has yet to really sit down and figure that out. Like they have yet to really sit down and just like break it down and just say, listen, read this section, read this section. You understand? They've never made that a priority. They just, I mean, I don't want to say they don't care, but in the end, it sometimes looks like they don't really care. Right. Because
let me ask Matt something, because Brandon brought this up, right? And you guys are picking up on something very, very big, and I'm with it. But out of all of us, I think the only one that's worked on a younger book has been Matt. Right. So, you know, Brandon says here, if all the kids go back to their campaigns, but this wasn't one. Brenda had mentioned something about developing, here we go, a separate imprint or brand aimed at kids at the same time than the regular books. So
no.
But hold on, let me ask Matt.
That's fine.
Out of all of us, he has worked on stuff for younger kids. So what do you see in this, Matt?
So I don't know about developing a separate imprint. I think that here's why I say it. Here's my response to that. I think that you have to be smart about what it is that you're actually producing, because if you want to go and develop something that is going to be all ages or something that's going to speak to that age group, you have to decide, am I going to do that, or am I going to produce stuff that is going to hit in the NC-17 market, things like that? Because when you try to hit on both sides at the same time, you basically can do one or the other, because nobody is going down to their local porn store to pick up their latest kids comics or their kids books or things that are going to influence their kids. And if you are known as a creator or someone that is putting out stuff that is going to skew towards that genre, it's going to be very difficult to say, oh, I'm also going to do this, because if I was a parent, I would look at it and say, am I going to be able to trust that what's here is going to actually be for kids, or is what's going to be here going to be something that's going to be laced with, is it going to be Ren and Stimpy that is for 6 to 9 year olds, knowing that it is laced with every double entendre known to man to try and be a gateway to hopefully groom them to go into the harder stuff later on. So I think that if you're going to try to do that, you're going to be very, very, very careful and make sure you know exactly what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And just real quick, I wanted to say, Tom, thank you. Because you're the one that did it. I didn't have to burst this bubble early. You did it for me. Thank you.
Well, the thing is that I do a lot of different stuff. You know, I do like really kind of more adult things, and I do stuff that is like Critter is basically all ages. But I can see in an instant the differential in sales, the differential in attention, the differential in when people just like come to a Comic-Con, like to the booth, like they'll immediately their eyeballs like key in on like, you know, sort of the sexy angels. And even though we have other things, their brain is like, oh, they make that. So that means that everything here is that. And it's really hard to break that mental block with people. Now, if they give you an opportunity to talk to them, you can talk them through it. Like, well, this is this, and this is this, and this is this. But more often than not, I will get parents that come by at the con and they'll have their kids, and their kids will be looking right at Critter. And, but you can see the parents are looking up at like banners and stuff. And they're like, oh no, we're going to literally, they put their hand in front of the kid's eyes and like walk them past the booth. So, to purposely create something for kids on the side, if a lot of your brand is more adult, I won't say adult material, but like older kid material. I think you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. I think you're wasting time, effort, resources. Unless you think you have a property, an IP, a thought process that's a marketable thing, then, you know, obviously, you know, make your attempt. But you need to understand who you're selling to. And like Renata said, like, if you can't access the kids, access the parents, right? Yeah, of course. That's what we're doing right now, literally. But there's the trickle down effect still doesn't work, because the kids are coming in talking about manga and anime, because all of that works together. And what's weird, what Marvel and DC haven't figured out is, if someone goes and watches the Iron Man movie and then comes into a comic book store and there's no connection, that they're fucked. You're losing out without having sort of an MCU comic book world that is an easy dive in, right? So
yeah, we talked about that before, and how when our gateway into comics was from cartoons. So Spider-Man, His Amazing Friend, G.I. Joe, and stuff like that. Where is that now? Like, they don't. Is there isn't a cartoon that is pushing people to comics. There isn't a movie that's pushing people to comics. It's kind of like you're purposely separating these two worlds when you don't, when you shouldn't.
Now I'm gonna age myself. My gateway cartoons were the old Jack Kirby, when it was like, you remember the bad animated ones?
Only the mouth moved.
Yeah. I like that. I
remember those too. Yeah.
When I first had access to the USA channel.
Yeah, but you like Deep Rising too. So it's questionable.
Don't mess with Deep Rising, bro. Treat Williams was a gem. All right. There was Deep Rising, and what was the other one that he did, the zombie thing with Joe Piscopo? Dead Heat. Freaking man, Marvin. Thank you.
That's Marvin. Don't save him. He's trying to like deflect onto this other subject, so he doesn't have to realize how badly he's getting his ass kicked.
No, listen. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked badly over here. I'm trying to say that if we can capture 10%, fucking 5%, right, of those 60 million readers,
you can't even catch 1%.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's
right?
The problem.
And why isn't the industry at large trying to do that? We can't get into those markets, all right, because we're struggling to do that. But they have the access to it.
It's two things.
Production with somebody with Scholastic on a first-hand basis,
right? Why doesn't Marvel have a Scholastic book line?
They do.
Why? Well,
they
have little golden books too, but like, are they? I've seen them in comic shops. I don't see them in like Walmart or anything like that.
But they do, dude. I've seen Miles Morales small digest books in Target.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Dinosaur Girl is Marvel. Huge. Yeah. Is it Dinosaur Girl? Who's the little girl with the big
Moon Girl?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur. Yeah, there you go. I know that's a huge one.
Right. But again, what you say is that you still have a gateway. So the anime is the gateway to the manga. What's the gateway like? And then it was the Captain Underpants was before Dogman. So was that
was a movie?
Yeah. So I mean, you got gateways, and those movies and things are pushing them to other products. When in our field, where's the push? And then the other thing is what we were talking about before about the numbering on those graphic novels is that you can't. How do you know? There's like and then they do arcs. So they did like an arc for Executioner Song, which separated out books from X-Men. And then you did a whole line of those books that had the same things in it, but it didn't have all the ancillary books to it. So then you're reading it, you get confused because what's the story you're talking about? It just started in the middle of it. And then the other part is that when, like I said before, is that when I took a older gentleman to a comic shop recently, and he's just standing there with his mouth open, like, where do you start at? It's too much stuff. I can't filter through any of this.
It's too much stuff, and now the brilliance of Tom Brevoort wants to release a new fucking X-Men book every single month for a year. Like, it's just, this is the thing. It's like there's no forethought to the future of this industry. It's all right now. What's in the next 2 to 6 months? This is all we're going to pay attention to. For me, I just went to a Comic-Con at C2E2, ended up planning my shit all the way through 2028 because I started talking to people there, and all of a sudden it was like, God damn, like, here's our plans. But these guys are like, yeah, like in 6 months we'll release another 6 issues that nobody asked for, that'll be canceled after 12 issues, and then we'll do it all again. It's like, what? The industry is so... The industry is killing itself because it doesn't understand how to brand and market itself and do the smallest, tiniest things that manga does, like just basic collections with numbers. And that's like we've Ms. Marvel. Is it Ms. Marvel? Not Ms. Marvel. Who's the Kamala Marvel character?
Yeah, Ms. Marvel.
Is Ms. Marvel? Okay, so like Ms. Marvel, Moon Girl, like those things sold well because they were brand new. So you put those things into the bookshelves, they don't have like 20, 30 years of continuity. It's just Ms. Marvel 1 through 10, and they can just come in and buy them. Moon Girl 1 through 10, they can buy them. It's working, but they can't figure out how to translate that to anything else.
All right, so I want to add to something you said earlier. You brought up Invincible, One Piece, and Death Note. I think the biggest common denominator between all of those is that there's one single creator, one single vision, right? One driving force behind the entire line, whereas you have Marvel and DC, and there are too many chefs in the kitchen. So what's the difference between too many chefs in the kitchen with Marvel and DC and a lot of chefs in the kitchen on Dogman? Because, Dave Pelk is not the only force behind that. He's the creative force, right?
But it's still one... But
again, there's not 12 volumes of Dogman.
No, there's like 6 or 7.
No, what I'm saying, there's no Dogman, and then Dogman
Adventures of Dogman.
Adventures of Dogman.
There is. There's Cat Kid, his spinoff.
Yeah, but the thing is,
but there's not. Like
but there's not Web of Dogman, Amazing Dogman, Spectacular Dogman.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So that's help. If the more focused you can be, the better you'll be able to be. Even if there's multiple people doing it, the more focused you can be, from a consumer standpoint. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, It doesn't. At that point, it's not even a matter of the creators. It's a matter of ease of use. 1 through 6, 1 through 8, 1 through 12. It's just a visual context. And it also works from the collecting standpoint because people like to put this shit up on their shelf and they want to be like, hey, I need to get 1, 2, 3. Like, I want to look at it on there. And sometimes they even put like art on the spines so that as you put them on the shelf, like there's a piece of art that like grows as the books come along. Like This is super easy stuff, and the comic book industry just has not figured it out.
Is it, or is it simpler to do that, or is it simpler to do something where the subtitle is the driving force behind it instead of volume 1, 2, and 3 and 4? Because I remember I remember going after X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga, X-Men Guardian Wars. I don't know what issues that happened. I didn't know they were between 4 or 5 different issues from the different titles, but the subtitle drew me. Okay, this was one complete story.
But like for example, with Invincible, he has both. It's volume 1, family ties. It's volume 2, this. It's volume 3, this. So you do both. Give them a tagline. Like that's what I do on all my stuff. All of my books have Critter volume 1 and then a tagline for the story name, whatever. But they all have a number on it so that whenever somebody needs to know where they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, Matt, you got 2, 3 different titles, right?
4
different titles. Are you collecting them into trades already or no?
Absolutely. That's what Tales from Nocturnia, that's on Kickstarter right now, is a collected into a trade. Heirs of Isildur, we did one for that one. Misfits Clubhouse. There are plans, and there should be something by the end of the year. It's supposed to be earlier. That was going to be a mini trade for that. So yeah, we are definitely trying to get into having those volumes because there are certain segments of the population that don't care about comics in any way. When you go to a show, they just see it as like a lower entertainment form. But as soon as you put a spine on a book, even if it's the same content on the inside, they see there's a spine. Like, oh, you have a book there. Okay, now this is something I can pay attention to. It's a really weird dynamic there.
So this is your trade. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay, so Tales from Nocturnia is a story about Beninock the Executioner, who's trying to get out of the family business. The kingdom around him is falling apart, keeps trying to pull him back into a life of violence. This is a series that we kickstarted multiple issues back 2020 through 2021, did some anthology pieces. There are multiple metal songs that are on our albums that refer back to Tales from Nocturnia and also expand out the universe. We put a trade out in 2020, I believe, and at the end of this past year, we were almost out of our run and of issues. And we're like, we need to go get another reprint. But Steph and I went back and took a look at it. We're like, we could really do better with the lettering. We've got some additional content. So we've taken the last probably 6 months off and on, going back through the 152 pages that are in the issue and relettering it, refreshing it, and making sure that it's actually up to what our standards are nowadays. There's some before and after graphics later on down here where you see how the lettering was a little more avant-garde. We've made it a lot more streamlined and a lot more easy to read, just like what a normal comic writer would do. But I wanted to be an avant-garde, stubborn person because I came out of a non-comic world. I came out of graphic design, and I came out of writing poetry and doing CD and album layouts. And I'm like, I don't need to have white word bubbles. What are you talking about? And now I see that was a really stupid thought, but that was what I wanted to do at the time. So, and I have no problem with admitting that there was something I was trying to do now at that point, but I'm like, that doesn't appeal to a comic person who's going to be the one who's going to be buying this. So it took me a little bit to get over my ego in that and realize, that when doing a specific art form, you need to abide by the tenets of that art form. But yeah, right now the book is at 160 pages. We knew that it was going to be a little bit of a hard sell since we've already done this trade before, but with the additional artwork, the additional pages, the revamping of all the different pages, adding in some of our most popular merch that we've ever done before, while also adding in new things like the Stable Maiden's horse head that's right there, done by our Leatherworkers, GB Leatherworks. The dragon mask that's right there is something that we sold a ton of. Shockingly enough, they're like, hey, we can make you a dragon mask. And we're like, who's going to want that? Well, oddly enough, there was a lot of people that wanted to pay $300 for a fully wearable leather mask that's branded with our logo on the back of it. So we decided to put it back in here with some new stuff. The Double Dragon gray shirt, one of our most popular t-shirts. So we decided to do some socks that we are known for our socks. We decided to put some socks in there. And also do a refreshed version, the red and gray version of that Double Dragon logo. Again, we get 34 more bucks and we get to that minimum funding. We've got 3 different announcements to make that we think everybody's going to enjoy if you're a backer of this campaign, because immediately people are going to get some benefits. There's going to be some unlocked items, but we got to get there first.
Nice. Look, there's your early birds. That's over your stretch goals, right?
Yeah, we got the stretch goals. We got the writing.
Here we go. This is one of the things we were talking about, right? And it's your consecutive volumes. So you're letting people know what the order is in which to read your books.
Exactly. There's the reading order for it, so that way, if you want to get stuff, basically pre-apocalyptic event, that's where the first two things fall. You got Crossroads Conundrum, and then you've got this book, which is Tales from Nocturnia, the complete legendary saga. Then you've got post-apocalyptic event, which is everything for the Crossroads Conundrum. I mean, for the Perilous Prospects, and then I Am Keto, which is the fictional Far East title as well. Yeah, this is one of our favorite stories. We really like the way that the characters kind of developed. There's a lot of characters, a lot of stuff going on. It's not just here's, the black and white, good guys, bad guys. There's some people that are very much the moral compass, and some people that are just evil for the sake of being evil. But then in the middle, you've got a lot of people that are in that gray area. They're good people, but they may have some stupid decisions they make that really make things bad, or vice versa. Some people that are definitely the dregs of society that have some redeemable qualities by the end of the issue. So that way, everybody's not some cookie cutter. There's definitely a lot of uniqueness in the way that the characters are portrayed. If you're somebody that's a fan of World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, this is definitely the kind of title for you.
Nice. So 15 gets you the PDF, 160 pages right off the bat. I'm loving that. It's affordable. And just like in the bottom, there's your reading order. So if you want more, you can get more, and you know where it is going to land. Look at that. Look at all that stuff. Look at all those goods. Holy shit.
Yeah, we made sure if somebody wants to get the original issues that were done, we've got like tiers and add-ons where you can get the original collectible issues. We did a whole Garbage Pail Kids run homage covers. Walter Osley from Metal Shark Bro did a whole set of homage covers with some of our characters turned into Garbage Pail Kids. So if somebody wanted to go back and get those or get the trading cards we did around those are all available in the add-ons. All of our stuff from Heirs of Isildur and from I Am Keto, even Misfits Clubhouse. If somebody wants to add it on, we've had people do that. We've had people are like, hey, I want to go get your fantasy horror store, but I want the socks from Misfits Clubhouse. If you don't put it up there, it's 100% chance they're never going to get it. So we spend all that time, throwing down every single add-on you possibly can, because you never know what somebody might want.
And look at it. I think I brought you a backer, baby. I brought you a backer. Look at that.
Look at that. Michael D. Font.
We're making sales for everybody in the show. Way to fucking be. I love that.
Look at that, man. We are $19 to be able to make all these other announcements, man. $19. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
$19 for being funded, folks. It's a great book. Matt and his partner Steph, they're a great team. And whoever backed it, I know you're getting good stuff. And for anybody else that's interested, the link is right there in the comments. So go right ahead and pick that bad boy up today. 5 days left. Less than $20 from being funded. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and
Appreciate
roll. It. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look at that. Here we go. It was Michael.
That's
Michael backed it.
Thank you, sir.
Michael is a huge supporter of independent comic books.
Yep.
So we got to show Michael that love. Here we go. You got Tom already backed you earlier under JD's show. Okay. All right. And so since he brought up Tom, let's bring up Tom's book right now. Tom's got how many more days, Tom?
About 24 hours. 26 hours, something like that.
God damn, brother. God damn, man.
I'm done with this madness.
How much of this is going to go to pay the taxes on the lake? Give us a quick shout, brother. You got 270 backers. You got 26 hours left. You're cresting. You're about to touch 18 grand.
Yeah. It's possible we get there tonight since it's the last 2 days. We generally get a pretty good pop in the last 2 days, so we might hit 18, which would be great. But this is critter number 23, part of an ongoing series that we do. It is in the volume world. It's volume 6. So we'll be wrapping up a complete story arc for you guys before we move into the next story arc in 2026. We've unlocked 5 stretch goals. So we've got magnets, we've got trading cards, we've got a bonus pinup by Terry Parr. This volume is sort of the big kind of explanation of what the Critterverse is. we've been talking about it basically since the inception of the book. You know, that there's these variations of Critter and these various literally various universes, parallel dimensions that have been created. And we finally get to talk about how this volume works, or not how the volume works, but how the Critterverse works, where it came from, how it works. And it's going to be unlike any other sort of multiverse that, you know, we've seen before. So that's going to be really the fun part of this is when we finally get to show you the extra little step that this takes. I think that's going to make it really fun. And that'll lead us into what we're going to do in 2026 with the expansion of the Critterverse. So there's your pages. That's Omar and Hedwin Zaldivar. That's what your interior art looks like throughout. There's 10 covers. Joe Chiodo, 90s bad girl, master painter. Keith Garvey, Jose Luis, M.R. Gunn, Fabio Samao, our 20-year anniversary to Mean Girls from Narcio Sousa.
Okay, great.
Joel Gomez coming over from Coffin Comics. And then Terry Parr doing the Doghouse team up with our Pillow Fight cover. And then if you haven't bought this stuff before, there's multiple ways to get it. You can get just the basic book. You can get the last 3 issues all put together. There's digital versions of it. There's physical versions with all the trade paperbacks. So depending on how deep you want to go, you can get in on the entire series if you want. We have mystery boxes. You can get the entire set of new books, $250 value for $200, plus all the numbers that you see. That includes your shipping as well. So it's $200 flat. There's no extra shipping on that. We've got pins. These will be die cut, about 3-inch size pins. If you need stuff for your lanyards, there's the one of a kind art package we talked about earlier. You get the original piece of art by Joel Gomez, plus a 1-of-1 of the art book and the variation of the color from sun to moon. And we did action figures. So if you guys like toys, we've got action figures available. And then this is the rest of the Big Dog Inc. universe. Do you want to try other things out? We do fantasy, superheroes, westerns, horror, historical fiction. We have a shark book coming out next year. All kinds of stuff. So yeah.
Are these Ursa Minor and Shahrazad, are they linked up to Critter or are they separate?
Nope, they're their own thing.
They're their own thing. So
Yep.
You don't have to worry about putting up a timeline.
Yep.
What to read first, what not to read first. Okay.
Right. Yep.
Okay. And you got your Antoinette, Genevieve, Jaws. I mean, it's only an island if you look at it from the water.
That's right.
Is that the full title?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tom, when you said in your mind you got this stuff planned out through 2028,
yeah.
When you look at that in your history, do you say, "Oh yeah, I literally could go 5 years up, and there's not a whole lot of deviation"? What I end up saying I'm going to do like, or do you go, "Yeah, this is what my general plan is, but I'm probably going to deviate as I look at the market"?
Well, no, screw the market. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't have time for the market to adjust to me. I just say, here's what I do, guys. You either are here for it or you're not. And it's fine either way. The only deviation that we do is we may like add to it, like we say, hey, we're going to like for in 2026, like, hey, we're going to focus on Critter, but we might be like, oh, but let's sprinkle a couple of extra little things in along the way, just to give our fans that maybe aren't the Critter fans, like, yeah, we still know you're out there. Here's a little mini story for Penny or Princesses versus Zombies or whatever it happens to be. But I've always written my books and produced the books based on what I wanted to do. I didn't worry about trends. I didn't worry about anything. We try and sometimes match up like holidays, like we'll try and release Princess versus Zombies like in October and things like that. But
right.
But as far as like, hey, now if something changes, like if we have plans for 2028 and like the artist flakes on us, we may be forced to make a modification. But as far as like market trends or any of that kind of stuff, no.
Well, I only market trends as in like yeah, we wanted to do foil covers and metal covers or a trade, or we want to do longer issues, shorter issues, but that's not what the market's bearing. So, we in 2026, the market now wants 100-page issues, and that's all we want. So we might have to change it up that kind of market trend. Not we want to write vampire love stories or glittery vampires, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the answer is no. I still don't play any of that. I do it the way that I want to do it. I do it the way that my core group of buyers wants. And then, the external buyers that are like coming in, if they're like, well, I only buy trades or whatever, I'll be, well, I got trades for everything, guys. Like, you may have to wait for this particular volume to become a trade, but we've got all these other trades that you can do in the meantime. So come on in and grab them. Yeah, I mean, I'm the boss. I do what the fuck I want to do.
And when you're bringing in $18,000 on a campaign, you can do whatever the heck you want to do. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think
You're doing something right. You're doing something right. So hey, that works.
And speaking of trades, one more trade that we got going on over here.
And look at that. It's got a volume number on it.
Oh,
wow. Amazing.
And it'll have a subtitle too. So it'll have both.
You're covering your bases, brother. You're covering your bases. Now, this is going to be launching when?
Circling August right now.
Okay.
But that could shift up or back because I want to do another Kickstarter before the end of the year, so I want to get this one done and out the door so I can do the other one. So
now, is this something that's going to hit shelves also, or is it just going to be Kickstarter?
Yes. Yeah. Well, the Volume 1 trade should be in the next previews.
Nice.
Which means that. Sorry.
No, you said cool.
Oh, and then this one, I don't know. I had things on the schedule and had things lined up, and then the schedule fell into a bucket of water, and I don't remember what was on it. So.
That's how you run a business, baby.
Yeah, meaning that the schedule got wet, and then it's no longer fluid.
Okay.
If it was wet, it should be more fluid.
Oh, that's what I mean. Now it's fluid. It's fluid because it got wet. That's what I was trying to say, but I mean, it's
full of fluid. Okay.
I think I fumbled the joke there.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So the link is in the comments for anybody who is interested in signing up. And hopefully it signs up. Hopefully it launches sooner than.
I see JD still hasn't pressed that button, or you're not logged in. So
I'm not logged in.
Yeah, I'm not logged in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you see on the top. Oh, you can't see it because my logo's in the way, but up on the top on the right hand side.
It says login. It's cool.
Yeah, bro. Come on, Papa. Come on, baby.
And then we got some books and previews this month also.
Okay.
Fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And while we're going through everybody else's campaign, let us see how 3 books for $1 are going.
Well, it's actually 3 for 3.
3 for 3. He took somebody's
3
advice.
3 for 3. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I took Tom's advice. Yes, I did.
Oh, I got to tell us from Nocturne up here twice. Okay.
Hey, that's all right. You can leave it up there twice. I'm fine with that. I'll allow it. I'm okay with that.
3 for 3.
That's right. If it was anybody else but Matt, I'd be upset.
We get listen. If McDonald's put up 3 for 3, I'm going right now. I don't know. I don't care what the fuck they're selling now.
Are you showing something else?
That's a deal. All right, here we go. Here we got Calderon's book right now.
Yep.
All right. 28 backers, 22 days to go. You hit your goal, 685.
Weirdest possible picture to use as your
what? That's an awesome ass piece.
Are you kidding me? No fucking way. This Tom, this was the guy busting my balls on my campaign picture last week, and he got this piggy with.
As I say, Miss Piggy is definitely not happy with Kermit in that picture.
That's right. This is War Pig, baby.
Oh my god, dude.
What are you talking about? That picture is epic, sir. You've never seen a more epic War Pig.
Oh
is that a cover or a panel?
That's actually a cover.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
War Pig and the Wombat? Is that what I'm seeing?
It's actually a rat in battle armor.
It's a rat. Okay.
It's battle rap.
She's an orc queen. So
JD, I want to know, when you're at a show, do you actually have somebody come to your booth and you're like, you know what? I really need to add to my collection of large-breasted warrior pigs fighting off rats. I mean, you never know who comes to your booth, but I'm like, there's got to be a reason for that. I'm like, that I would love to see somebody like, dude, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Listen, it's part of the story. It's in there. Yeah. But yeah, but the important part of this is we have 3 books, and I'm selling them for $3 plus shipping if you're looking to buy physical. There's digital rewards on there as well. And the most important thing about this is that the Oswald Chronicles itself is in full color for the first time.
Who colored it?
This was actually colored by David Montoya. He's a former colorist for he worked for Broadway Comics. He worked for Milestone Comics.
Okay.
And there was another company, I'm forgetting. But there's also Tall Tales that's in there. It's a one shot. And there's also The Well-Keeper for issue 1 by D. Fish. So it's all 3 books for $1 plus shipping. But also available on this campaign is issues 2 and 3 of Oswald, which you can see some more of the color pages here. They're also in color. So those are also available. Those are regular prices, though. Those are not part of that other group where those are printed offset. These have to actually print through in demand, so that it's a different process. So obviously, it's a bit more expensive to print.
This is what I want to get to for a second. Here we go. The full cover. The full
cover. That's the full cover. Yes.
Of our pig lady. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The artist on this is drawing a blank. Jesus, Donny Hadijawa, and he's a former illustrator for Vampirella.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right. So
he used to draw in swimsuits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Tall Tales is in full color. This is not part of your three.
No, this is not right. This is that same comic, but it's also available in color, and it's the entire story. It's available as an add-on. It's also available as its own level, so you can also pick that up as well. So there's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of moving parts, but the most important thing is they introduce Oswald to everybody in full color. So it's our first go at it. So we're gonna see how we're going. So,
okay. All right.
Still 22 days to go.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Deuce. There you go. And it's all more shenanigans from here.
And for anyone interested in this, the link is also going to be right here in the comments.
There you go.
So jump on that one, baby.
Go jump on it. Go jump in it, because I'm telling you, you need more warrior pig ladies in your life.
I'm saying, I'm not hating, because here's the thing: it's an original looking cover. That definitely is not a cover that you're going to look at and be like, "I've seen that 1,000 times at Tom Hutchinson's table."
Exactly.
You think I don't have a war pig ready to go next time? I am ready.
I think after this show, I think you absolutely might.
You're right. Yeah.
And the last book we got up for tonight would be mine, ladies and gentlemen. This is my baby here, and we're at 57 backers. 13 days left to go. We are funded already. There are 3 different covers for the first issue: the story cover, our logo cover, and our classic corner box cover. Then there's issue number 2, issue number 1. All returning backers, regardless of whatever campaign they have backed, get a free holochrome trading card added to their reward at no extra charge. We are just over $150 away from hitting our first stretch goal, which is another trading card added to the rewards. Here's what our stuff is about. There's a creative team. This is a black and white story, just like some of my favorite zombie movies. And here's some preview pages. There's a little pin you can get. Here are some of the other holochrome trading cards that were given for free to some of our previous backers. So if you're just jumping in, you can grab a hold of those. It's a separate reward or able to be added on to any other reward. There's our digital catalog. And then here are our shirts. And one thing that I put in the updates that I have not added into the body of the book yet was I don't even have it in here yet. All right. Is that our second stretch goal will be a 3-inch vinyl sticker of our mascot, the Zombie of Liberty. So she'll be added once we get to $1,600. 3-inch vinyl sticker of this little lady right here, added to everyone's reward, no extra charge. So we got 2 weeks left to go on this bad boy, and I can't wait to send it out to everyone.
So JD, I got a bone to pick with you right now, right?
Yeah. I saw your comments. Yeah.
So you know what the bone is. So you and I were on another show.
Yes.
And I was like, hey man, if somebody's already got 1 and 2, there's no way for them to just get the digital of 3. And you said, and I quote on that show, that's a really good idea. I'm going to make sure I put that into the campaign tonight.
And I did it.
And it hasn't happened. So listen, if Marvin Wynn was to have asked you to do that, would you have gone ahead and done that night?
Wow.
What do I have to do to get that Marvin Wynn cred with you?
You know what? I would have given him the parent lie, just like I gave it to you the other day. Yes, don't worry, I'll do it, son. Don't worry, I'll do it.
Well, no, right. for real though, I think
the difference is I would have messaged you the next day and asked you.
He did message me the next day.
I just think that there's probably some money that you're leaving on the table, because if somebody's already got 1 and 2 digitally, I don't think you're going to get them to be like, well, I'm going to go pay more to get 1, 2, and 3 again.
Right.
And I just want to see you be able to make sure that you get that backer count up when it comes to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to see you leaving that easy money out there.
Backer count is key for us, right? Because no matter what level they get in, we can always scale up from that. Right?
Absolutely.
We just got to get them through the door. I mean, how many of us say, we're getting backers? And that's the thing. I'm getting backers, right? I'm getting at least one sale every day, which, wow, even in the dead zone to get, at least one sale every day. For me, I take that as a win. So yes, getting them in there at the most tiniest entry, at least is getting them through the door.
So Calderon, do you think that he's going to actually do it? Do you think he's going to put that in before the end of his campaign, Calderon? What is your prediction? JD is your boy. I mean, you guys are from the hood. You guys know each other from you go down and have pizza together all the time in the neighborhood. Do you think he's actually going to do this, or do you think he's stringing me along for his own good?
No, stringing you along.
No, I think he'll do it. I mean, he has yet to change that shit thing that he has.
I don't want to hear you say another fucking word about my campaign. After you did Pigs and War.
Clearly what you need is a zombie pig.
At least I put up a good piece of artwork.
You need a zombie pig on your thing, JD.
That's it.
I need a zombie pig.
You know what, Rosario? I think I might know somebody that could draw you a crossover of the zombie pig cover for your campaign. His name is JD Calderon. He might be able to do that for you.
You need to do an homage cover of that.
I don't want to hear that.
Tom,
I don't want to hear that, because for the last few weeks I was asking for that homage of Critter riding the shark out of the Fonz. You know what I mean, bro? And I don't see any layouts for that. I haven't even heard an inkling.
Critter and the Sharks is so 2014, dude. I already did that stuff.
Yeah, he showed us a picture of it.
So you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. If he had Joel Gomez do that original piece of art of Critter on the Sharks, I wouldn't be the one to buy it, but I'd push it.
That's the whole thing, right? It's like, hey man, you should do that. Would you buy it? No, but you should do that.
Somebody will buy it, but not me.
And that's one of the things I don't know if you guys face this. I face this quite a bit. People who are outside of the community always giving their advice on how to do things when they're not part of the community and they're not spending the money to create the product. But we should do that, right?
It even happens within the community. I get people who buy comics and stuff, and they'll come and tell me like, "Oh, you should do this, and you should do that, and you should this," and then I'll tell them, "Oh, I already did that. Here, let me show you. Here it is. Oh, you already did that. Yeah, so it's $10. What do you mean? Well, this is what you asked for. I literally have it right now. It's $10. Oh, well, I don't buy that. I'm like, well, then your fucking opinion means jack shit, dude. I mean, if you're not putting the money in my hand.
Last week when you showed me the picture of Critter diving into the water to take out the shark, you're like, Jay, buy this book. And guess what I have?
Tom, that's a good
$5, Jay. I can get you a back issue.
That's a good point that you just brought up, man, that I think we all run into even in the online world, where there's a lot of people in the online world that want to give their opinion about, well, if Tom Hutchison is doing this, if somebody does this, I'm not going to support him. And I'm like, you weren't supporting us in the first place. So you have to think about, is the opinion that is out there something you should be taking any action on? And I agree with what you said earlier. You got to do what you think is the right thing to do. But like, there's so many people that want to throw opinions around just because they want to be heard in this echo chamber that is the internet. Yeah. And they never had any opportunity, any idea to spend $1 on you, man. And I agree. You got to think, is that an opinion that actually matters? Like, does my opinion matter to Jay Rosario about putting a $5 tier on his thing?
No.
Yes.
No.
You gotta have that treatment from the hood. Get that.
I'll tell you this, guys. This is.
I mean, shame doesn't even work. So
this is actually a good thing that Matches did, because I just came from C2E2, and we're talking about the difference between people with an opinion or a thought, like you should do this, and like actual buyers. We've talked about like drama on the internet versus how do you deal with it, whatever. I just came from C2E2, and what I saw a whole bunch of motherfuckers who are doing their fucking job, and they know they're doing their fucking job, and they know they have to do their fucking job, and they don't give two shits about what the drama is in the comic book industry. They do not care. Even if they have vague rumblings about anything that is going on about them or about anybody else, how can I put another $40 in my pocket? Like this is what they're doing. How can I make my Kickstarter grow? How can I collaborate with these other people that I know and grow all of us together and the brand? So the internet is a really good place, but it's also just filled with hot air. And the sooner you realize that you don't actually need drama to succeed, you are going to open all kinds of doors for yourself. Just talking to these 8 or 9 people for one day, I was there for one day on Friday. It like washed my brain in an instant. I was like, fuck, this is a workplace environment. These people know what they're doing. They are focused on what they're doing, whether it's their book, whether they're working for somebody else, whether they're doing variant covers for each other. Like, the internet is not the comic book industry. Stop believing that it is.
Right.
And I think that's one of the best things that indie guys can do is you don't even have to like booth at a big show. Just go to a big show. Go to a C2E2. Go to an Emerald City. Go to a big show where they have real guests.
Say it.
What? No, I'll never say that. You don't go to New York Comic Con ever. But if you go there and you see these legitimate professionals doing it, and a lot of these, when I say professionals, it's guys like that are even at our level, like Ryan Kincaid and whoever. We're all in that same bubble, but they're treating this like it's a profession. Mm-hmm. Everything that they do is forward, build for themselves, for the people they work with. You will have your brainwashed in the right way to kind of understand that the industry is the industry, and it's not Twitter, and it's not Facebook, and it's not any of this other stuff. And I hadn't been to a real con in like 5 months. So I was clearly like soaking this up like a sponge. But it was everything that I needed to know. And in that one day I talked to all these people, and I was like, fucking hell, look what we are going to do just by talking to these guys for 20-30 minutes at their booth. And then we walk away from the con and we're like, yeah, we're ready to do, man. We're ready to work. So yeah.
And that's the thing, when this is your full life, right? When this is your business, and you got to keep that revenue stream going to keep your life going, you don't have time to play those other games.
You don't have time. That's the whole thing. You don't have time. That's it. And it's the cliche thing, right? It's like life. Like you only have so much time on this planet, and you live your life. Like that's true, but you might even only have so much time in the industry, because it's like sports guys. I mean, maybe they get 5 or 6 years and then they got to do something else. So you got to take advantage of all the time that you have, and any sort of momentum that you've gained. You got to stay ahead of that wave, or it will crash on you, and you have to start again.
Get washed out.
Yep.
Right. I remember Ivan Reitman before he passed away, for somebody who made Ghostbusters and Stripes and all these other classic movies. His biggest regret was, I wish I had made more movies.
Yeah.
And somebody who was at the top of his game for most of his career, right? Making quality stuff that we still love, that we reference to this day. He still says, I wish I had made more movies. I wish I had made more comic books.
I agree with that thought process. And that's one of the things that, one of my driving forces is nobody is going to, when you're at the end of your life, they're going to go, hey, you know what? You were really good. And I'm not disparaging somebody who's a cashier somewhere, but they're not going to go, you know what? You were a really good cashier at the local grocery store. You scanned those groceries really well. But they might go, JD, the writing that you do for either JD that's on this show really influenced me. And it's something that I really was moved by. And only you can create those things that are in your head. Only you can take that art that doesn't exist, those stories that don't exist, period, until you take them out of your head and put them there. Those are the things that are going to influence people. We just had somebody, and it blows me away when stuff like this happens. We had a guy come up, and this is not an exaggeration, came up to us at Spookala, the show we did 3 weeks ago. And he was like, listen, when I got Tales from Nocturnia from you, it changed my life. And we're like, he's like watching the struggle of the main character and the decisions that he made and seeing the things that happened around him. He's like, it really moved me. It changed me. He's like, I'm a veteran of war. And he's like, I do a lot of stuff with other veterans. And he's like, I've literally taken this book in there and I'm sharing it with them because watching this guy be able to fight off these odds. And we're like, where do you go when somebody says that? You never expect to hear somebody say that, but that would never happen if you didn't take the time to write the stuff that you need to write and create the stuff you need to create, and stop worrying about, like you said, all the other stupid drama that all it does is splinter your audience in half when you go and take a side in dumb drama.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do the work. Do the work.
So, Spookala, a buddy of mine wants me to go do Spooky Empire out there in Florida. What do you suggest?
Let's take that conversation offline. Let's take that conversation offline.
Done.
Look, let's take that one
Pros
offline.
and cons. All right.
Yeah.
After show, the green room is rocking, baby.
I just had a funny thought with what Daphne just posted.
Okay. Do you want to be known as a creator that inspired people, or that weirdo that bitched and screamed at everything and everyone online?
You know what I'm thinking about, right? About the bitch and screaming at everybody online, right?
Don't talk about Jay like that. He's right next to you.
Is he on my right or my left?
He's on your left.
You know who I'm talking about. It just made me laugh because I just thought of that person. I'm like,
yeah.
Man, I think you could say a lot of different people in that one, man. So I'm like,
seriously,
there's a bucket. There's a bucket.
No. It's not a comic creator. I know when I say it's not a comic creator, you're going to think about who I'm talking about. Some guy with a really bad come over. I'll just say that.
All right, but over here we go. We got Grandas saying, are independent creators or small press guys part of the industry, or are 2 or 3 comic book industries that run parallel to each other, the direct market, bookstores, and libraries, and independent guys?
Well, if you make comics, that's the industry, making comics.
Mm-hmm.
Sales channels are different things. Direct market, bookstores, library. That's just sales channels for people that are in the industry. But if you're making comics, to me, you're in the industry. At whatever level you are making comics, you are in the comic book industry. If you're producing a product, you're in. I mean, that's the one of the things that I kind of poo-poo at Comic Cons now. People are like, oh man, I just need to know how to break in. I'm like, make a comic.
That's it.
You're in.
Like, just put your foot in the box. You made a comic, you're in, man. I understand people are like, well, break in means like Marvel or DC. I'm like, well, that's a different world. It's a different concept. It's a different journey. But if you want to be in the industry, break in, just make a comic. You're there. You've done it. And if you make something, you've already done something that at least 50% of the other people haven't done yet. So take pride in the fact that you actually produced a thing, even if it's one thing. You got past the point of all the fear of rejection. You got past all of the fear of the creation. You got past all the roadblocks of creating, because there's a lot of roadblocks. And most people, when they start to create, they'll be like, oh man, this is too hard, and they'll drop out. So if you made a thing, whatever it is, a book, a comic, a movie, whatever it is, if you made a thing, even if I tell you that your shark movie is shitty, like, you still made a shark movie and I didn't. So I give you kudos for accomplishing the feat of actually creating something.
Now, if they put cat ears on the shark, would that make it a better movie?
It might. It damn well might. Cat Shark. We'll just make a movie called Cat Shark. Yeah, I think there's something there.
I've got the cat dog theme song running through my head as soon as you said that. Cat Shark. Cat Shark.
Definitely something going on there.
Oh, you guys know how to bring, light information, busting my chops. You know how to make it all wrap up into one nice, beautiful, perfect show. It's a microcosm of how my day-to-day is, Hey, information, and hey, bringing me down to fucking earth on a regular basis. It's
drag you into the ground, making sure that you're not floating too far away.
That's right. Marvin, you've seen his belly recently?
I don't even know about that.
What the fuck?
You say you don't want to see him float away. I just,
Whoa. Filled with helium now. Okay. I was more thinking about the noggin, not the belly.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. He actually did lose. The last time I saw him, he did.
Damn right, baby.
He was looking. No, listen. Take it easy.
You're gonna get that Ozempic face.
Take the compliment. Take the compliment and just shut up.
Hey,
you're looking better. That's all.
I'm looking fucking good. I'm not.
All right, let's.
I'm looking good, baby. You see
this? Better. Just
see this, bro?
Come on, take the compliment. Jesus.
I'm my summer body's coming back.
You got whiskey in that bottle or what?
No, dude. We got the whiskey in the rocks glass. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Come on, baby. Come on.
I thought you were trying to just, fool us.
No,
I'm drinking water over here.
We got to do both. Juice. We got to do both. There's been times where I've been here and I've been loaded, and I shouldn't be. I'm trying to be semi-professional, right? I want to be coherent. I don't want to snap on nobody. I don't want to bark on nobody. We gotta lighten it up with a little bit of water, guys.
It's not like we've ever seen any of those things before.
And I'm drinking good stuff.
Good stuff. Apparently.
That water from the toilet.
But
because cat piss.
It's not cat piss. It's not cat piss at all.
Well, it's New York water, so I mean, it may as well be cat piss.
You got this hate for New York, dude.
I do.
That hurts me.
It's real.
I don't say nothing about Michigan. I don't know
nothing you can say. Well, unless it's Flint, then you can talk about Flint. Flint's a disaster. Detroit. Oh, did you guys hear? Did you guys hear about the Detroit sign that they put in Detroit? Like the old, like the LAX, they have like the big light up letters. And so they made this big light up sign for Detroit with these light up letters, right? It was there for 2 weeks and somebody sold the E. That's Detroit, baby.
Entrepreneurism at its best.
So they just made it French. You go to Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Still it is. Toilette is what it is. It's the toilette.
So, all right, we went all over the place. We talked a lot. We talked a lot about stuff that really wasn't in the topic. So let's bring this back to the topic for a second. You got this guy, not just him. Okay, you've got Raina Telgemeier. You've got Shannon Hill, right? Who was working on Wonder Woman, selling maybe 20,000 units when she was working on Wonder Woman. And here she goes, and she does her own YA book, right? And and she's in the triple digits. Where's the disparity for that? Is it because she's doing the
We're
YA
not making YA books.
Right.
Nor do we have a Wonder Woman credit to go with it.
And she's probably either going through Abrams or Scholastic.
Yeah, also that
Right.
too. But yeah,
So
but number one, hey, look, I've got credit. I've worked on Wonder Woman. Hey, number two, we're aiming for the young adult audience. Hey, number three, Scholastic or whoever picked them up. That's the three pieces that none of us have. Those pieces.
So, but I mean, Scholastic is the machine, right? Right. Yeah. The marketing power. That machine is a hell of a lot bigger than the Marvel and the DC machine, or the Disney and the Warner Brothers machine.
Well, it's not that it's bigger; it's that it exists.
Right.
That's all. Effective? Because Marvel and DC have never, ever done any sort of marketing push for their products. Nope. Outside of a little bit of when New 52 happened, they did some stuff on Cartoon Network. But as far as like regular marketing, like, hey, Pepsi and, Super Bowl commercials like that, like Marvel and DC, Disney, Warner, whatever you want to call them, they have never marketed the product. They've only ever marketed the films and the TV stuff that comes from.
And Marvel is doing a promotion with Coca-Cola right now. They're putting the characters on the cans. And then you can scan, and I don't know what it does. I got one, but I don't know what it does when you scan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's not that's not marketing to get them. That's just like, hey, Spider-Man's on a can. It's not, hey, Spider-Man's a comic book. Go get a comic book at your local place.
It has nothing to do with comic books at all.
Right. It's just a brand awareness thing. Yeah.
Right. Because I heard an ad on the radio the other day, just this past week, promoting the Marvel Snap game on the radio. It was on Sirius, right? Okay. The Marvel Snap game.
What is that?
Deadpool and Wolverine and whatever and Venom. But
is that done by Marvel, or is it the people who licensed
it? It's an app, right? It's the license. It's an app,
right? So it's the people who licensed it that are advertising because they want to sell the app,
and they're moving it, right? They're getting subscribers, whatever you want to call it. People buying it.
It's no different than them putting skins in Fortnite, and now Disney's doing their own version of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to the brand awareness. I think that my feeling is Marvel and DC at this point in time don't care about comics in any way. And that's a hard thing to say, but it's like, to me, comics is not where they're going to be making their money now. They're a business that needs to go make tons and tons of money. How are they going to make money? They're going to make money by making tons of money off the movies and off the marketing there. Comics, just like toys, just like Lego sets, is just filling up the aisles with whatever they can so that they have got the market share, so that when you go to Walmart and you look at the aisles, you're going to see 50% of this aisle is going to be Marvel IPs that people are going to just have in their heads at all times. You're going to see if them putting Spider-Man on bicycles at Walmart is going to get people's eyes to see it. No matter where they turn, they're going to have an IP. That's going to be the first thing they think about when they want to spend money on something. And so I think that that's where a lot of it comes down to. It has nothing to do with them wanting to actually make money off of the comic IP itself. I want when somebody goes into their local comic store, their local gaming store, that the first thing they see is nothing but our IP, so that when they spend money anywhere, it could be not even there, it could be at Walmart, they're like, yep, I know Spider-Man is the thing. I've got to go spend money on Spider-Man. That's why they've got 8 different runs of Spider-Man happening again concurrently, because that's that much more shelf space they can cover up that DC doesn't have, indies don't have. That's just my opinion.
See, it's one of those things that Steve Jobs said back in the day of when he was marketing Apple, is like, why do they buy Apple and not the competitor? And he broke it down to social currency. It's a social thing now, Marvel and DC and pop culture in general, but it's all a social thing now because nerds won. We are culture now. And so now it's just a matter of which nerd are you? Are you a Marvel nerd, a DC nerd, a Firefly nerd? Like, what nerd are you? And you can tell people from your shirts and your shoes and your hats. And, it's just, that's it now. These big companies have realized that the source material, we got 80 years of source material. Do we need more source material? As far as like adapting it into movies or TV, do we even need source material? I mean, they're just making up their own shit now anyway. So, it's just a matter of how many Spider-Man logos can we sell on how many products. to make us better than DC Comics or everybody else.
But all right, so Matt was touching on something, right? And he brought up how pretty much the bigger companies are drowning out shelf space with their product, whether it's good or not.
They've been doing that since the 80s.
Yeah,
right. So how do we compete with that? How do we make ourselves
appealing? We don't do that. We don't, and we don't partially because the retailers don't support us either.
Right.
So it's not even a matter of like, well, yes, they're flooding it because the retailers have to buy all the Marvel shit. Like we understand. But like if retailers really understood what the hell they were doing, and some do, this is not a broad, it's not a generalization. Some do. Some understand that Marvel and DC are a plateau, and they're really never going to go any higher than what they are. At this stage in the game with comics, Spider-Man is going to sell Spider-Man, Batman is going to sell Batman, and that's it. If you want to actually raise your business, you need other products. And again, that's not to say that you have to carry every independent thing that exists. Of course not. But you should be really trying to branch out to your customers. Hey, you like this? Try this. Hey, you like this? Try this. That is how you raise your business, is through diversification of the product. And that doesn't mean add pops and fucking Yu-Gi-Oh and shit. Like there's diversification within comics that you can do. But, money, budget, customers with blinders on. I only buy Spider-Man. I only buy Marvel, whatever. It's a really, really hard thing to sort of get us to crack that,
right. And then once in a while you have The Walking Dead, or you have something like Saga that brings in droves of people, but it happens sporadically. It's like every 5 years you have one of those books, right? And for one of us to produce one of those books, I mean, God bless everybody on this panel. I hope it happens. You understand? But it happening is highly unlikely. It's you might hit the lotto first.
And again, those books that you're talking about, that also requires, just like we were talking about Scholastic, that shit requires Image or Dark Horse or something that's got a like an upper tier to be presenting it and marketing it.
Right. And even the Invincible animated series did a lot of good with Invincible. Like sales up on those volumes were way up when that show is on and it's new episodes.
I remember them talking about it, right? When that first season of series was going on, those 6 weeks, he sold over 100,000 units at an average of $12. That's almost $1.2 million, man.
So there is the pushback is happening, but it's so up and down because you don't have a lot of can we look and see if X-Men 97 is selling any X-Men comics?
It is not. It is
book. I didn't think so because of the state of the book, though, right?
That's right. Because the book is not accessible, and that's one of the reasons why Brevoort is like, well, let's just put a bunch of number ones out, because all these X-Men people are like, hey, X-Men, cool. Where do we go to X-Men now? Well, here it is. Because if you look at that X-Men shit, Rogue's back in her old costume. Yeah, like everything's reverting back.
Synergy's coming back. Right.
Yeah.
So
that's what's happening. Is I have to give them credit. So they realize that something happened, and they're like, yeah, you know what? If we reset this and we give a starting point, these X-Men 97 people are going to come into the store, and a retailer is going to be able to say, start right here, and it's going to have some loose, vague, visual that the X-Men 97 fans will be like, oh, okay, that looks
they've been right. The covers they've had X-Men 97 covers on the book.
Sure. But like the new books that are coming out, like it's Rogue's back in her green and yellow thing, and the Jim Lee version,
right?
All that kind of stuff.
They're shoehorning in one or two brand new characters within each of the new titles to see what'll work and what doesn't work. And, I'm sure if it doesn't, then by the next arc, they'll rotate somebody else in, but keep those main cast tied into the animated series.
Yeah. Right. One of the books I'd like to hear some numbers from is The Boys, because I know Dynamite reprinted those omnibuses over and over again. They reprinted them with the actual photo covers of the stars on those books. Yeah. So I can only imagine what their sales must have been like. I mean, on those books, because there's 6 of them, and I'm sure it took off for them. Because here's the other thing: Dynamite has, as of late, has been making a real impact, I think, on the industry. They've had a lot of high-end books coming out, right? And I'm pretty sure The Boys played into that because it gave them the revenue to be able to move into that direction.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, because of the whole diamond situation, and we don't have Comic-Con anymore and stuff like that.
Right.
Those numbers are not available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what JG just said, it's pretty clear. They got an influx of cash from the licensing of it, from again marketing of toys and shit from it, selling the books from it. You know, all of that allowed them to go get all of these licenses, Thundercats and whatever, and just pour money into it, which has now since poured money back into their pockets and put them in a different sort of mindset within the industry now.
Right. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Deadpool Wolverine movie is going to push some up, because they are pushing a lot of Deadpool Wolverines. There's going to be a book, Deadpool Wolverine, coming out too. So,
there's that. There's so many tie-ins. There's new photo booths from that are going to be the theaters that cover all this stuff. It's crazy, dude.
Well, that's good though.
The one thing I would say is be smart about who you are trying to compete with. And what I mean by that is, if you say, I want to take my comic, New York versus the world, and I want to be able to compete with Marvel, you're probably going to be disappointed every day that you have that thought process, because your comic, and not a single comic that is being talked about on this show, is probably ever going to compete with Marvel on that Marvel line. You have to determine what success means to you specifically and go after it. Think about what Tom said earlier. You look at someone like Tom, someone like Pat Shand. I know that neither one of them, and forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, Tom, I don't think you give a crap if you sell the numbers that any Marvel or DC comic sells at their top end. You're like, as long as I can make a business for myself that is successful and growing, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I think even on Kickstarter, you have to be careful as well, because I know that, in the last 2 years, I think we've all seen that the cheesecake industry on Kickstarter is where a lot of the money has started to funnel to, in a majority, that there's less money in other titles that are not cheesecake oriented, that are making the kind of money that goes into the cheesecake side of stuff. And if you go into Kickstarter and you're like, well, one of these days I want to be as big as Brian Pulido. If you're not doing something that is based on scantily clad women with huge assets, and that's what your business is. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging Pulido in any way. He's built a great business that, if you can run conventions around your IP, you've done something right. But unless that's what your business is, which is absolutely not what JD Calderon's business is, then you don't need to look at him as somebody that is even in your funnel. That's a different funnel that just also happens to exist on Kickstarter.
Yep.
So worrying about competing with the bigs, or worrying about competing, I would much rather look at what Tom is doing, or what Pat Shand is doing, or Charlie Stickney is doing, or someone like that, because their business model is much closer and much more akin to the things that we do than somebody that's got the big Marvel backing, or Scholastic backing, or Dark Horse backing, or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Guys, I like that as an ending place for tonight. We've gone an hour and a half. I appreciate Matt having the last word on this. And we will start from the bottom. Tom, let everyone know where they can find you.
Basically, you can find us, Big Dog Inc., pretty much anywhere you go. We do most of our stuff on Facebook, but we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We have our Patreon going on as well. Patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. Critter ends tomorrow, basically all 25 hours. And then we'll have a few more campaigns throughout the rest of the year as well. We do about 6 to 8 campaigns a year. So watch for what else is coming.
All right. Calderon, where can they find you at, brother?
Tomorrow night, Sunday night, talking comics on Sunday night with JD Rosario. Will be here tomorrow night. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also on Facebook, Instagram, all those different places, and the JD Calderon, and most importantly on Kickstarter, the Oswald Chronicles, currently there right now. So there you go.
But nah,
Matt, talk to us, brother.
All right, so right now, go to tinyurl.com/TFNRE. Once again, that's tinyurl.com/TFNRE. That's Tales from Nocturnia. It can be remastered, relettered, revisited. We've got 5 days left. We'd like to be able to see this campaign do way better than it's doing right now, but because this is a great book, this is our most popular story. Everybody seems to revolve around it when you're talking about Beninock, the executioner, trying to get out of the family business. It's a self-contained story. Everything we've ever done for Tales from Nocturnia is going to be in this book. But if you're somebody that really does like the larger universe, it does have a tie-in to our Heirs of Isildur steampunk apocalyptic time travel universe that makes it super fun in that respect. We are $19 away from the minimum funding level. We have 3 announcements already ready to go, an immediate benefit for every backer, a stretch goal, and an unlocked add-on item that all 3 will be announced as soon as we hit that level. So come on now, it's only $19. You guys know you want to help make these announcements happen. So come on, fellas. Come on, people. Let's do this.
Don't let them sweat anymore, folks.
Show me the money.
Marvin, where can they find you at, bro?
Right where I'm sitting at right now. What are you talking about?
My man.
Stage right. Stage right.
This way. No, this way. So you can find me at The Edge Comic on all of your socials, also at comicsburg.com. We're making special announcements coming up June 1st and 2nd at Three Rivers Comic Con here in Pittsburgh.
All right. Cool, brother. And when's Three Rivers?
That's June 1st and 2nd.
My man. All right. And you can find me at unstoppablecomics.com. Also on Kickstarter with New York versus the World. Thank you, everyone who has been participating in the comments. There's been a great chat. There's been a lot of interaction. And for those of you who are catching us on the restream, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, you can find the links to everybody's campaign in the show notes and in the comments. So once again, thank you for checking us out here on Comic Book Streamland. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.